Hey everyone, so in this video we're going to take a quick look at Blockbench. Blockbench is a free and easy to use 3D modeler. You can download it right now if you're interested. It's at blockbench.net. You can either download the app and use it as a standalone app on your computer, or you can use it as a web app. I know some people don't like apps that are built right into the browser. I'm just going to use that version since this is just going to be a quick overview, but as I said, you can always just download the full version. Okay, so let's go ahead and click on Open Web App. You have several different types of projects that you could use, several different types of blocks. We're going to go ahead and use generic model. And the reason for that is because this is the version you'd use for Unity or Unreal. And that's usually what I skew these tutorials towards, is towards game design. As you can see, there's a low poly modeling tutorial there if you're interested. And then we'll just go ahead and click on Create New Model. We'll just give a file name, so we'll call this test proj 2. As you can see, you have things such as texture size. So I think this defaults to the amount of pixels that the Minecraft that a Minecraft texture has, like for one facing. Not 100% sure. I've never gotten into that side of Minecraft, but you can indeed change the texture size. So let's go ahead and click on confirm. Okay, so with the basic project settings put into place, we can actually work on the individual models. Now, just like a lot of 3D modelers, you're going to have multiple overall workflows. You have edit, you have paint, and you have animate. Edit is just that. That's where you're modifying the model. So you're modifying the shape, adding shapes, removing shapes. Paint is when you're doing the actual coloring, the actual detailing. So this is when you're adding textures, materials, that kind of things. And then you have, again, animate if you're trying to animate it. We won't go near animate in this video. This is just a quick introduction and overview. And personally, I'm not really that thrilled with this, seeing that this is like the major workflow. I'd rather prefer some kind of like banner or something at the top, really demonstrating what stage you're in. But that's just my opinion. Likewise, one of the major tools you're going to use is right here, Add Mesh. So I'd kind of like to see this as like a subset of that. I have no doubt that when you click on these change. But again, I think this is too major of functionality to be consigned to like just like one corner. I'd prefer it to be more kind of top level and indicating that everything is subordinate to it. But anyways, so we're going to go ahead and click on Add Mesh. And just like 3D Builder, you have different shapes you can choose, and I'll come back to this in a couple minutes, but ultimately some of these shapes you can change how many sides there are to it, and by doing that you effectively turn one shape into another. That was one of the features that I liked about 3D Builder. This has similar functionality, but we'll start with just cuboid so I can walk you through the basic way that you edit shapes. It starts with a default of 16 by 8. You can change this if you want, so that means this is going to be wider and longer than it's tall. So you can see it's not like a nice cube. It's going to be flattish. So click on confirm, and there you go. Now, something I want to point out is that there are multiple modes within the edit mode. So within the edit mode, you can select the object, you can select a vertex or vertices if you select multiple. You can select one or more edges, and you can select one or more facings. That's also pretty typical for 3D. For 3D modeling in general, is the ability to modify the model in that manner. Anyways, but you can see down here that when you're in the modes I just talked about, like here is when you're in object mode, this is vertex, this is edge, and this is facing. When you're in object mode, you can change some of those settings that we just chose. So we chose height of 8. You can bump that up to 16 so it becomes a cube. We can go say to 12. And that's going to be important when we go to some of the other models that have, like I said, the amount of sidings that it has to start with. Okay, so I'm not going to try to make any particular shape, so I'm just going to move a few parts of this, and then you can just get familiar with the tools that way. By the way, as far as basic navigation, if you hold right mouse and then move the mouse, that pans around. hold left mouse and move the mouse around, that's rotate, and then scroll wheel, zoom in and out. Okay, so as I said, that this has the ability to select a vertex. So let's just click on one, and then you have the typical three directions. So you can move it that way, you can move it that way, you can move it that way. And again, not trying to make any particular shape, just showing you the basic interaction with the tools. You can grab multiple uh, um, vertices. You can hold the control key, CTRL, click on a second one, and now when you move up, it moves those two. Okay, let's see. Okay, so what we're going to do now is let's go to edge mode, and we'll grab just a random edge, and then we can move that edge around. And just as we mentioned a minute ago, you can grab multiple. Some combinations might not make any sense. So I'm going to hold CTRL control, grab a second edge, and then you can move those around. So again, some combinations don't make a lot of sense, but just so you know, you can do it. Okay, so that's the edges, and then we can go to a facing. So you can grab like a facing, and that you can move around. You can grab multiple ones. Okay. All right, so that's the basically what we refer to as transform, because you're moving it. You're moving it from one position to another. Now you do have some additional tools. So let's click on just one facing, and then over here you can see extrude. So if you click on extrude, what you've done is you've now added more edges. See how there's like a line there? So you're not just scaling it out by extruding, you've created a new edge, well, multiple edges, one on each side, and you've also created new facings, one on each side as well. And then you can do other things too, like you say you grab this one, and now you go to insert. Again, you have even more facings, and now you've subdivided this. So now you can extrude that out, or do an insert. Okay, so that's some of the basic tools, and like I said, I'm not trying to make any particular shape. So let's go on to another object. Again, this is just meant to be kind of a quick overview. I can do a more detailed tutorial if you guys are interested in that. So we'll go back to Shape Select. We'll click on that and we'll delete it. And then we'll come back here. We'll click on Add Mesh. And then this time we will choose... Let's choose Torus because this one had some interesting options. So I'm going to leave all the defaults here. I'm going to click on Confirm. As you can see, this gives you what you would expect to be from a torus. That is basically a ring. But if you notice again down here, you have those key parameters that you can still change in real time. So sides, let's bring that all the way down to 3. So now it's triangular. You can go to 4, more of a square, so like a square frame. Pentagon. So even though it's a torus, it really does have a lot of flexibility to it. And let's just do that with like one or two more. Let's see what I could do with the sphere. Do confirm. So 12 sides to it. So let's see what happens if we shrink that down. There you go. So that you definitely would not really think of as a sphere. That one, it looks more like maybe a gem. You'd maybe make it green or red, maybe stretch it vertically. Let's see how few we can go down to. Looks like you can go down to 3. So again, this does not look like a sphere, so keep in mind that you can really customize it to get different shapes, that you don't have to start with something that you don't want and break it, that just using the built-in tools allows you to do that. So I think that's the basics that I just wanted to cover. So this video is meant to be a couple things. One, it's meant to be the FYI so you know about this application. Two, just to give you a quick overview. So, we've done an overview so that there's three basic stages. You know about adding the shapes. You've seen the basic way to customize the shapes. And you know the ways to manipulate the shapes as far as vertices, facings, edges, and then some of the tools such as the ability to extrude or insert. Okay, so I think that's about it. Again, this isn't meant to be a very long video. I hope you found this interesting. If you want to see more about this, just let me know. I'm on vacation this week, at least as the time of recording, so I certainly could do a few more of these if anyone is interested. Again, it's free, so you can go download this now if you're interested. Okay, so I think that's about it. So I hope you found this interesting, and please do enjoy the rest of your day.